My name is Azee. I'm the current owner of Ana Shawarma. We come from Atlanta back in 2019, and I moved here in 2022 seeking a better life and hoping to open a really, really good business in Columbus. And here we are on our way to doing that.
Being that your father did have a restaurant business, what made you want to go out and do your own thing instead of just like franchising one of his spots? Because that would have been an easy little leg up for you.
Definitely. So that's a pretty funny story, actually. So with my dad, for a little while, I would say, more than a little while, actually, I was being patient and hoping that my dad would open me one of his second locations or a new restaurant, or even let me take over his current one and let me run it. But unfortunately, at the time, I was young and I wasn't the businessman that I am now. And my dad didn't feel that I was ready, and I agree with him now. At the time, I didn't like that, and
Right.
I
You
was
never
young,
do.
and exactly, yeah. So I got to a point where I've been married since 2020.
Nice.
So, or sorry, since I've been 20 years old, I've been married since 2018. I'm sorry. So I got married at a very young age, and I was seeking a better life, better income. I was working hourly for my dad, hourly in the hospital. So I decided every time I would come visit here, Columbus. The reason why I would come visit here is because all my in-laws live here. So
Gotcha.
when my wife would, want to see her parents, I would take her. And when we would come here, I'd always notice that the halal industry, in terms of halal food here, is very lacking,
It is. I
like
agree.
big time. So I figured, I said, why don't I open a food truck here? Because food truck, I was thinking small, and that's one. I try not to regret anything, and thank God I don't regret anything. But I should have opened a restaurant from the get go when I came here. But you live and you learn, and that's I think everything happens for a reason, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm on the path that I am right now. But yeah, so we ended up opening a food truck on January 1st of 2022 or 2023. I'm sorry, and then about 8 months, 9 months later in September, we did our grand opening of our ghost kitchen. So we grew really rapidly in the food truck. And I was really happy about that and excited about that. And it was very humbling because how fast we were growing.
Yeah.
And that now we're exploring options of opening a second location,
Oh, nice.
hopefully a
Congrats.
brick and mortar. And an exclusive announcement that I wanted to make here as well. We're actually opening a second concept. So
Ooh, cool.
so yeah, official. I opened. I rented a second kitchen. I've already leased it. We've already fully equipped it as well. We're working on opening it hopefully next month. By 2025, it should be open. The name is going to be Ozzy's Pizza and Chicken. We're going to be
Oh
doing
my
fried chicken
God.
and pizza, all
Dude.
halal. So
Yes.
that's the announcement I wanted to make on this podcast, and it couldn't have been a better timing when Anthony hit me up for this
Dude,
podcast. So
that is huge, and I'm excited. Like that filled me with so much joy
yeah,
because your food is so amazing. But to see you in the fried chicken space and pizza space, like first of all, it's a perfect combo:
yeah.
chicken and pizza rolls, and then your version of that's going to be phenomenal.
Thank you. Yeah, and fried chicken, my dad actually specialized in for 25 years. So fried chicken, I have pretty well-rounded expertise in it. But in terms of pizza, that's actually something that's a new realm for me, and I'm definitely the type of person that I kind of dive in head first and just learn as I go.
Nice,
So we have been now for about 3 weeks testing recipes. So hopefully we should have the recipes locked down by next month. We've been getting better and better and better. So
nice.
definitely coming soon.
And so, are you thinking like Columbus style pizza, New York style pizza? What kind of pizza are we talking?
Definitely New York style pizza. I
Nice.
was actually born in New York.
Oh,
Fun fact
cool.
about me, and I was raised in New Jersey. So
Nice.
Atlanta's not even where I grew up. I moved to Atlanta when I was 16 years old. So I only lived there for 8 years, but I lived my 16 years of my life in New Jersey.
Hell yeah.
So the objective is like a New Jersey, New York style pizza, a thin, crispy, kind of like what you will with Sexton's.
Nice.
Like I really like Sexton's. I think their pizza is great, and we're trying to go for a similar crispy style, thin crust, and we'll see where it takes us.
I'm assuming a beef pepperoni, of course.
Definitely, yes, and everything will be halal. We will have beef pepperoni. We'll have chicken. We're actually going to have an Ana Shawarma and Ozzy's Pizza and Chicken collab and have a chicken
Ooh.
shawarma pizza. So we have definitely a lot of things cooking. So be on the lookout, and
Dude,
you know,
yes. That's so exciting, man. I feel like you're just so good. And like I told you this before, but I want to say it on the podcast.
yeah.
Your social media is amazing. You're so authentic and like people value authenticity. And like you literally, it's no frills. You just throw up your phone and you just kind of like talk to the camera. You just look a quick little shot of your food and stuff. Like, how has social media helped your business?
Honestly, social media is very humbling. Seriously, I mean, I started my page back in 2019 because Ana Shawarma was actually invented in Atlanta. That's another fun fact. It was invented in Atlanta. We did it for about a year. I had a partner in it, and it was okay. I wouldn't say we did amazing or we did anything life changing, but we did events and we had a good time. We made some money, so we were happy. And then eventually we got to the point where I couldn't juggle all of that at once. I was doing the food truck, the hospital, and working for my dad all at once. And we would just do events weekly, an event or 2 events, 3 events a month. So, but when we moved here and I opened my food truck, I started on West Broad right next to Doctors Hospital. Do you know where Doctors is?
I do, yeah.
So when we started over there, that was a great location, and I was there for 3 months. I built up the brand there a little bit. I built up the customer base. I built up the name. I even talked to the ER and fed the ER once or twice,
Nice.
I believe. And unfortunately, the city gave us a couple problems, and we had to move. So then we started from zero again. Went to a pretty, I would say, a little bit more rough area around Joyce and Hudson. That was the intersection that we were at,
Gotcha.
right off of Cleveland. So it was a little bit more rough of an area, but we still made money there, and we still had really good customer base that was supporting us. So then after that, the city bothered us again, and we had to move again. So then instead of moving, the ghost kitchen option came. And that's when I decided, you know what, forget the food truck. Let's open this ghost kitchen and see where it takes us.
Nice.
And once we started the ghost kitchen and we did our grand opening where we give the free food for 3 hours, that's when our Instagram started to really blow up.
Nice.
So the only thing I've ever done is honestly just pay for some Instagram boosts, the boost option, and spend a couple bucks, whatever here and there, whatever I could afford. But mainly it was just me posting, like you said, very nonchalant, regular videos. I'm not doing nothing special. I'm not doing crazy edits. I'm not paying thousands of dollars to anybody to do any type of editing for me. I'm just doing some regular stuff and just using my personality and my skills and hoping people will enjoy it and just as much as I do. I really like what I do. So thank God we've been lucky enough to just get a lot of support, a lot of followers, and I feel like Columbus is a very like a main city for supporting local people.
Oh yeah,
They
absolutely.
support local really big time. Seriously.
Totally. And was it challenging to go from a food truck to the ghost kitchen, or is it a similar size kitchen, or is it more room actually?
Well, actually, it's a night and day difference. So for the food truck, I'll give you the examples that a lot of people don't think about, especially when people are thinking of opening a food truck. These are some good tips for you. In a food truck, you don't have unlimited water. You have to fill up your water tank whenever the water tank finishes. You don't have unlimited gas. You need propane. When
Gotcha.
it finishes, you got to get more propane. There's tons of issues with that, is because you have to be really smart with your water, not using it constantly and not being very wasteful with it. So when we went to the kitchen, first of all, it's 3-4 times bigger. But the
Nice.
kitchen's tiny. So for a person who's in a brick and mortar and comes to our place, they say, well, this is crazy. How do you do business out of this?
Yeah.
But for a guy who came from a food truck in a tiny, small kitchen,
This is a mansion, baby.
this is exactly right. This is a palace. I call it a palace. So we've used actually every square inch. I mean, you've been in there. You see the shelves are all the way to the ceiling. We use every single square inch of the kitchen, and it's like a palace for us. I mean, we make it work. So now we came from a food truck to now a ghost kitchen, which is a step up. And when we open a brick and mortar, then it will feel like a village.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the objective. So we'll see what happens.
That's exciting. Do you feel like the small space forces you to be more creative? It sounds like it at least made you be more efficient.
Yes, efficiency is very important in a kitchen like that. Just because if you're not efficient, you're going to have major issues in terms of fulfillment. You won't be able to fulfill. Like we had major issues in the beginning whenever we first started. We did not expect to be as busy as we were when we first started. And we use Toast, that's our POS right now. And we have like a system where whenever we take an order in the front, it comes back, shoots the order back on a TV in the back.
Oh, cool.
So we have a huge tablet, and it's hung on the wall. So as soon as an order comes, it just pops up and it makes a nice little beep and lets you know, hey, we got a new order.
Nice.
And that way the employees can fulfill it while I'm even in the front. Well, the issue we were having the first 6 months that we were open, we would get an order and I'd be in the front. It'd be 10 guys. I'd take their order and write every single order down. No onions, no ketchup, add this, add that, don't do this. And then the guy in the back would be waiting and waiting and waiting until finally I finish and give him the paper.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, when I'm in the front taking these orders and it flashes to the TV, it's great because now the employees have the orders and they're already fulfilling it, and I'm still conversing with my customers.
That's cool, dude.
So that's what
great.
made our life very, very easy.
Heck yeah. And have you been fortunate? Because I know a lot of my restaurateurs I talk to, they say it's challenging to find good employees. Like, have you been lucky in that regard?
Yes, thank
Nice.
God. Actually, I don't know what it is. I don't know. To be honest, I can't tell you exactly. I think it's just from God. But for some reason, forever, I've been having a very lucky thing with getting employees. Sure, I'm
Nice.
not saying that I've always had the best employees at all times, but I've just been lucky enough for people that call me and text me. I mean, the amount of DMs I get for jobs
Nice.
is ridiculous, and I just can't give a job to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I usually what I do is I give people a chance. So whether I don't judge by just seeing you right off the bat. I usually give everybody 5 days chance. So when I
Nice.
hire someone, I tell them come work for 5 days. And after 5 days, if you're happy and I'm happy, then I'll give you a schedule. And if
Nice.
I'm not happy, no harm, no foul. And if you're not happy, no harm, no foul, and I'll pay you for those days. So that's what I typically do. And fortunately enough, I've been fortunate to find some really, really good people.
Nice.
So
Heck yeah. And I think it's because your personality's so warm and welcoming, and also you lead by example. Like you work so hard, like you work every single day, dude. Like you're always working, and I think people really truly respect that.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, seriously, this past year, from opening the Ghost Kitchen, I was fortunate enough to have really good employees. So I was kind of on cruise control, but I was still working 7 days a week. And I
That's
had a lot of
crazy.
friends and people asking me, well, why are you working 7 days a week? You've got good employees. You can trust them. They're not stealing from you. There's no issues. Why don't you take a day off? And I said, I, I would say, first of all, if they didn't own a business, I would say you don't understand owning a business.
Mm-hmm.
It's like your baby. It's
Yeah.
hard to let it go, no matter. And on top of that, I enjoy what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do what they do because they want to make money, not because they love what they do. I really love what I do and I
Nice.
enjoy it. So being there is not really a job for me. So I really like to be there, and it's actually hard for me to let go. You can ask my employees, any of my employees that work for me now, when I'm gone, if I'm out with my wife or I'm taking a break and I'm, having some friends over or whatever I'm doing, I'm constantly checking up on them. I'm
Nice.
constantly texting them. I'm constantly calling them, and they're like, "Hey, listen, chill, we're good. You
Yeah.
don't you
You
don't
just
need to
care so
call." But
much.
it's my baby, and I want to
Yeah.
make sure. Like even my employees, I'm not a father yet, and God willing, hopefully I will be soon. But the employees are like my kids. Literally, I love taking care of them. I have an employee that's double my age. He could be my father. He's
Mm-hmm.
52, but I just love him. I love them all. I take care of all my employees like my own family,
That's cool.
and in return, they treat me the same way. So,
I love that. Is your wife involved in the business? Is she doing her own thing or?
so my wife, she's actually she's a full-time OSU student. She's on
Nice.
her way to hopefully becoming a PA soon.
Oh, cool.
My wife, she helps me on the social media end a lot. She's my biggest helper. I respond to all the DMs. I post all the stories. I respond to all the comments. I do all that stuff. She does all my posting.
Nice.
Any types of videos. She even makes a lot of my videos as well. It's a mix of both. I film everything, I take care of everything, and then I send it to her. Hey, listen, make this kind of video and post it. So I'm
Nice.
really the ideal and the mind behind everything,
Mm-hmm.
and my wife does the
Dream
back
team.
end work. Yes,
That's
exactly. Dream
perfect.
team. Yeah, without her, I would not be here. Seriously.
That's so cool. I love that. That's amazing. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly.
And I can't imagine you have too much time to eat out, but I always like to ask people, like, do you have like a top three favorite Columbus restaurants?
Yes. So when you sent me the email about what kind of questions you were going to ask me, everything I was like, I'm just going to answer in the moment. But the top three was very difficult to come
Yeah.
down to. So actually, I finally came down with it. So top three, I'm actually going to give you three different genres, which is perfect. Bears Bagels being the first.
Nice.
I live right next to Bears Bagels, so it's very convenient for me, and I do go there a lot. Their food is very, very good, and
Mm-hmm.
their bagels are really, really good. Always get two bagels actually. I get a bagel with a schmear, just a regular, degular
Yeah.
bagel. Then I get the fancy schmancy one.
Yes.
So that's what I typically do when I go over there, and I'm a big eater,
That's a
so
pro move, getting two bagels.
exactly, yep. So Bears Bagels being the first one, Wario's being
Hell
the
yeah.
second, and honestly, not for their cheesesteak. I actually prefer my cheesesteak over Wario's, and I think Wario's food is great, but their chicken Caesar sub, the grilled chicken Caesar
Mm-hmm.
sub, is the best sub I've ever had in my life. I am not joking.
Nice.
That is the best sub I've ever had. Seriously, I actually just had one last night. No joke.
It's phenomenal, dude.
So
You're right.
yeah, it is ridiculously good, and I actually was fortunate enough to finally meet Stefano. I've seen him probably 100 times in Restaurant Depot,
Mm-hmm.
and we've made eye contact, we've nodded at each other, but we've never actually talked. And yesterday, I finally was able to talk to him, so it
Nice.
was cool. And the third, this is a new one and something that I just recently tried, and I was extremely impressed by. Pizza Nerds.
Oh,
So
nice.
Pizza Nerds is from Newark, Ohio. It's a great couple, Brent and Caitlin. And I just had their pizza just recently, and wow, their pizza is phenomenal.
Okay, cool.
Brent and Caitlin are working on some great things. They've got a really, really good product, and they're moving to Gahanna now. So they're going to be in the Columbus area, and they've been doing really well in Newark. So I can't imagine what's in store for them
Oh,
in
nice.
Gahanna. But their product is great, and the couple that stands behind their product is great, and I think they're going places. So
Absolutely.
definitely shout out to Pizza Nerds.
I agree with all three of those. Those are all three elite. And then with Pizza Nerds, I think their branding is so cool. Like their
Yes.
pizzas are so cool. And I'm excited for that Gahanna location to open up. It's going to be sick.
Yeah, I've been telling them they're going to kill it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're nervous, and I said there's no reason. I said you should be nervous about the volume.
Yeah, for real. It's going to be,
Make sure you have employees, and
yes.
it seems like they have that down as well.
Because your life could be totally changed. Because I feel like people are driving from Columbus to Newark to get their pizza. So now that
Exactly.
they're in Columbus, like Gahanna technically, but like people are going to go nuts for
Yeah,
it.
I wasn't even under the impression that they were out of Columbus. I didn't know that. I thought they were in Columbus, and then I found out they're in Newark, and I'm like, you guys are doing these kinds of numbers, these kinds of followers, this kind of marketing in Newark, and this is an hour away. I mean, I said you got to be ready,
Yeah.
get ready. You got to run a tight ship because this is going
That's
to
a
be
fact.
insane.
For real dough. Okay. Like dough. Okay, taps mic. All right. Anyways, actually with Warriors, I do love their cheesesteak the best. That's definitely my
Yeah.
favorite. The Warriors way, of course.
Yeah.
And then with bagels, I love Bear's Bagels. Phenomenal. Have you had
Yes.
the Locks Bagel Shop?
I've heard of it. I've actually seen them on, I think, Let's Eat Ohio's page like 100,000 times. I really got to go check it out. I think it's on the far east end of Columbus, right?
It's a short north area.
Oh,
like,
short north.
yeah.
Okay, okay. It's not that far then. Okay.
It's phenomenal. I love it. I think Locks and Bears are both top tier. Like I think I gave both of them a 98%.
Okay.
Because I don't even do ratings anymore. Because
Yeah.
I love ratings, and I would say probably half my followers love ratings,
Yeah.
and then the other half are like, "You're such a dickhead. Why are you like being mean to these restaurants?" And it's like, I'm not being mean. I usually try to do like
Yeah.
actionable things. Like I'm not just like, "Oh, that was mid." I'm like,
Yeah.
the chicken wings were undercooked, or like, whatever. Like I
Yep.
have like a specific thing that could be fixed.
Yep.
And so it was too much of a headache.
Actually, shout out to you. Your rating for us changed our ranch. So you
Oh,
told
nice.
us our ranch is not that good, and I didn't like our ranch either. But I couldn't find a good quality ranch. And after your words of encouragement, I actually went out and started looking for a much better ranch. And I now I use Marzetti's.
Nice,
So
dude.
yeah,
What
their
a
ranch
win.
is great. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And see, I just want to say for the record, like that's my goal. Like I'm
Yeah.
never, whenever I say something about any restaurant, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be a dickhead. I'm not
Of
trying to
course.
belittle them. I'm trying to like, A, be honest to my followers, and B, like help the restaurant improve.
Definitely, definitely,
So-
yeah. And like I said, I mean, I didn't take that as words of criticism and get offended in any way. I think it was just advice, and I took the advice, and I'm better for it.
Nice. Heck yeah. What a win. I'm glad I could help out. And your wings are bomb, dude. Your wings
Thank
are
you.
so freaking good. All your food is so freaking good.
Thank you. Yeah, I really feel like that our food is probably one of the most underrated food in Columbus. Like, and I'm not joking. I mean, yes, we are fortunate enough. We do have a lot of followers. We do have a lot of supporters. But I feel like the vast majority of people in Columbus don't know about what we have.
I know.
Don't know about us at all. And I feel like
Totally.
they're missing out. And I really would love for them to come try us out.
Dude, I lived in Manhattan for 6 years, and I used to eat a lot of street halal. Like
Yes.
I very rarely ate like in a brick and mortar halal.
Yeah.
But your food is just so much better than anything I had in New York. Like it tastes like the New York style, but somehow better. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Like you really crush it, and I'm always vouching for you. Like I think you are totally a hidden gem. Like I wrote about you for 614 magazine.
I appreciate
like
it, yes.
I'm always trying to put you guys on because I think your food is so freaking good, and you're so nice. Like you're so warm and welcoming, and like just to be out of a ghost kitchen and have the following you have, like just speaks to how great your food is.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. And like I said, I couldn't be here without my family and my employees, my wife, my supporters. I mean, none of this would have been possible. I'm just a regular guy. I'm not nobody special, and I'm not doing something that nobody else can't. I'm just cooking some food with love and passion and showing it to people. That's it. Pretty much it.
Do you think maybe your food is so good because you literally grew up with it, like your dad owned a business, and like it's just almost in your DNA almost?
I would say yes. And also another thing, growing up, another fun fact about me, I literally grew up obviously watching cartoons and Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and that because I'm a 90s baby, barely 90s baby. But I literally watched Food Network for like, I would say from like maybe 10 years old to like 17, 18 years old. Like
Nice.
around once I started working in the restaurant, I was watching Food Network even more. And my favorite show actually ever is Diners, Dive-Ins, and Drives. And I
Oh, yeah.
heard here that he's been in here in Columbus. Guy Fieri's been here in Columbus a few times, quite a few times. He
Yeah.
was just here recently, I believe.
He was totally just did. I think before he came recently, there was 7 places, and I think now there's like 11 or 12.
Wow.
Because he recently came back and did like 4 spots. He did
Nice.
Tommy's Diner, Wario's, He did
He did
King Euro.
Warriors?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. Wow,
So,
that's awesome.
which I'm so happy for them because they're already insanely popular without
Yes.
that. But then after this, and I know Triple D's fallen off a little bit in popularity, but it's still
Yeah.
going to be a game changer for
Of
them.
course,
It's going
yeah.
to be nuts.
I mean, it's one of the OG shows, and even a second generation know about that show. I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of people. It's a very very vast audience for that show. It's not just kids or youngsters or first generation. It's the second generation.
Yeah.
The elder folks as well. They know about that show. It's been what 20
40
years
seasons or
airing?
something? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's been
crazy.
forever. It's airing, so it definitely makes sense that it will definitely be life changing. I mean, Wario's already. Yeah, they're amazing. They're
They-
really doing great things. I wish to be
Absolutely.
like them one day.
Dude,
For
you
sure.
could. You can.
For sure.
You got a good heart and you got amazing food, so I feel like the sky's the limit for you.
Definitely, definitely.
Now let's talk about some fun food. I always like to ask people for like a polarizing food opinion because right now we've been all like love and fun. Is there anything that you don't like that others love, or is there something that you love that others hate? Like I think like truffles are polarizing, for example. Pineapple on pizzas polarizing, for example. Like something like that. Like just
That's what I was
kind of
gonna
light
say.
and fun.
Growing up, my obviously we weren't rich growing up, so our go-to was always Domino's. But Domino's, pineapple, and hot sauce. That was my favorite pizza growing up. My brothers would always tell me, "Hey, call in for a Domino's pizza." Pineapples and hot sauce every single time. The
Interesting.
pineapples and hot sauce was the favorite pizza. In terms of other things, I mean, I also grew up on Taco Bell. That's I still stand by it. The best fast food in America, I still think. And it's a very, very, very unpopular opinion. People will call that munchies food or when you're high or when you're under the influence food. But I grew up on Taco Bell and I still eat it to this day. So I love Taco Bell and shout out to Taco Bell. I always say Taco Bell is the best fast food. Yes,
This is
seriously.
a safe space for that because I love Taco Bell. And like you said, munchies, like absolutely, like I'll eat Taco Bell sober. Like I'll have Taco Bell, for breakfast, and I'll
Yes.
love it.
Yep.
But if I had some legal marijuana or some beers or something,
Be
it's
even
like
better.
5-star Michelin rated dining. Like,
Exactly
if
right,
you get a little
yes.
bit of an influence, it's
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
best shit ever.
Yeah, yeah. No, Taco Bell is really, really up there, seriously, for me.
What's your go-to hot sauce? You just order hot? Do you order the fire, mild?
Fire. And,
Fire.
and believe it or not, I do a packet per bite. So whenever I get fire sauce, I'm actually one of those weirdos that when I go there, I tell them give me a lot of fire sauce, and I tell them I do a packet per bite. So then they give me a separate brown bag of it. And when I get home, the way I eat it, all my friends make fun of me for it. So whenever I eat, my Taco Bell, I set up everything, and then I'll actually open all the packets.
Smart.
Throw away
Set up for
the
success.
corners.
Your side works.
Yeah, set everything up, and then when I'm ready to eat, I have to make sure I have 20, 30 packets ready, and then start dunking them. Yeah, so
That's so chef pilled.
exactly, yeah. So
You gotta get your mise en place ready.
exactly, yeah. So I like to be prepared when I'm starting to eat. I don't like in the middle of taking a bite of a burrito or a taco. Doing this. I just want to have everything nice and ready for me.
Dude, that is an excellent pro tip. It's kind of insane, but I love it. They should tease you for it, but that's beautiful, and I'm actually probably gonna do it because I'm a sauce boss myself.
Yeah.
I always and also when if I go to like a sit down restaurant, like I just recently went to Fiery Asian Kitchen. It's a new place on Bethel.
Yeah.
Sichuan restaurant, and I was like, make it extra spicy. I was like, make it to where you think you're ruining it, and that's
Yeah.
how hot I want it. And they
Wow.
did it. They delivered. My mouth was on fire. I was sweating. My nose
Wow.
was running. I don't know why I'm into it. I'm just a weirdo. I just love like super spicy things. Are you
Wow.
are you a heat seeker?
Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised. So you are you have high spice tolerance?
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I have a really high spice tolerance as well, but I'm also not the type of person who will try the type of hot that'll give me pain. Like for example, going to Dave's Hot Chicken and doing like a Reaper.
Yeah.
You have to sign a waiver. I don't think that's smart for me.
It's not.
I totally respect somebody else who does that, but for me, it's just not worth it. But I do like my regular order at Dave's Hot Chicken is always extra hot.
Nice.
Everywhere I go is usually extra hot. It just depends on where it is. But when I go to Indian restaurants, and Indian restaurants
They don't
is
play.
real hot. Yeah, so I don't ask for extra hot, but I do ask it for hot. But yeah, I do have a pretty high spice tolerance, I would say.
I did recently learn my lesson. One of my clients, Hoggies, every year they grow their own fresh peppers.
Nice.
And so last year, I didn't do it this year. I tapped out this year. But last year, because it's like Reapers, ghost peppers, like it's like 4 insane peppers and they're fresh. And so they said the record was 3 wings eaten. So my dumb ass, I'm like, oh, I got to eat 4.
Wow.
So the first bite, I'm telling you, dude, like my stomach turned into like a
Yeah.
fire pit. Like it was like I started
Yeah.
sweating. I was so hot, and I was like YOLO. So I just powered through, ate
Oh
four,
my God.
ate four. Got the little record that no one knows about.
Yeah.
And then the problem is my body rejected it. Like I literally like 2 hours later I threw up.
Yeah.
Like my body's like, dude, this is poison. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
So,
Definitely. Sometimes we can handle it, our mind can handle it, but literally our body physically cannot. Like these past 3 months, I've had actually quite a big employee issue. I had unfortunately one of my employees moved, and my manager left. Unfortunately, the reasons why he left, he was looking for pay that I couldn't afford. It was just impossible. So he left, unfortunately, and then I had a really big employee issue. So I've been working 7 days the past year, but this was the type of 7 days where I was now opening and closing
oh my
seven
god.
days a week for 3 months, plus shopping, plus, bringing inventory, taking inventory. I mean, when I tell you the whole 9 yards, my shift was 13 hours, but my shift was really 16, 17 hours every day for 3 months. So in those 3 months that I was working really hard, everyone was telling me how is this possible and how's it going, and it wasn't a mental issue. Mentally I was perfectly fine. Physically my body just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
My mind was perfectly fine. I wasn't going insane. I wasn't mentally tired. I totally could handle it. Just my physical body
Yeah.
literally could not handle it. Like at the end of the 3 months, like 2 or 3 times I came to work like 30 minutes late, and that's very, very not normal for me because I'm very punctual when it comes to coming to work. And coming to work on time is very important for me, for my employees. So if the boss can't come to
Right.
work on time, how can I expect my employees to? So my body literally was not waking up from my alarms. That's
Dude.
how exhausted my body was. But now, thank God, the employee issue is fixed, and now I finally have a few days off.
I'm very curious how you do that. Like I just can't understand like me if I were to do that. First of all, I think I'd be a grumpy dickhead. I don't think anybody would want to be around me because like I'm a nice guy, but like I'm
Yeah.
also very well rested. I have a life of leisure. I value my
Yeah.
free time. So because I could be hashtag hustle and make way more money, but like I make enough to pay my bills and I'm
Yeah.
chilling.
Yeah.
Like gonna have some fun or whatever. But to work 7 days a week, that just sounds so hard. Like what mentally made you do that? Where you're like, this is for my business, this is for my
Yeah.
my future, my life. Like what was your motivator? Because that's insane.
So my biggest motivator, honestly, I'm not really a person who's materialistic. I don't care about material things. I care about my future. So when the day comes and I have kids, I want to have free time then. Why? Because I want to be there in my kids' lives. I want to see my kid take his first few steps. I want to see my kid speak for the first time. I want to see my kid, teething and crying. I want to experience all those things. So I feel and I tell myself constantly that when the time comes, then I can relax. Then I can take,
Nice.
2, 3 days off in a week, take my wife and kid out and do my own thing. But if I kill myself now and work my ass off now, then this is the great time because I don't have any other responsibility besides pay my rent, work hard, eat food, and enjoy my wife. I mean, there's nothing really. I don't have no huge, gigantic responsibilities. Yes, I do have responsibility over 4 employees, but as long as I take care of all these things, then I don't mind working hard. Whether it
Yeah.
takes me 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, until I get to my goal, get to the position that I want to be in, I'm not going to stop.
I love that. That's incredible. That's motivating. I once heard some guy in a podcast, he said something to the effect of like owning your own business is kind of like trying to take a rowboat to Hawaii. Like it sucks and it's really hard and it's dangerous and it's risky, but once you get to Hawaii, oh my God, it's worth it.
And it's the most fulfilling feeling in the world. Like I'm telling you, in the restaurant industry, it is one of the most cutthroat and difficult industries. In my opinion, being construction the number one hardest business in the world, I think so personally. But restauranting is a close second or third, I would say. And restauranting, just when you work a 12-hour shift in the kitchen, and at the end of the shift, the kitchen looks like a bomb exploded in there, and you have to clean another hour after you're closed, and your body's so exhausted that you could just sit in your car and fall asleep. I mean, I'm not joking. You know how many times I've gotten home and just mentally trying to calm my mind down before I walk in my house, I sit in my car for like 10 minutes just to calm down. But that feeling when I get home and I finish taking a shower and I sit on my couch, it's the most fulfilling feeling in the world. You feel so accomplished what you did today. I mean, you feel every penny that you earn, you feel like a king because you're earning it.
Yeah.
Literally, it just feels great. Yeah, you work like a peasant. Bust your ass, but you really, really have a good time with that. So
I
I'm
love
telling you.
that. That's so cool. And it's definitely worth it for sure.
Yeah.
Now, being that you do care so much and it is your baby and you do work 7 days a week,
Yeah.
how do you disconnect? Like, if some customer has some complaint and you think it might be bullshit, or even if you think it's valid, like, how do you deal with a customer complaint when you're like, I'm here every single day? Like, I know that didn't happen.
So now I'm at a point where I actually know my customers' names from their voice. I know my customers' order by their caller ID. I mean, I know my customers' names the second that they pick up or I pick up the phone and I say, Ana Shawarma, how can I help you? As soon as they start speaking, I know exactly what they want. And the way I deal with that, honestly, I've had that experience, and that's a very good question. I've had that experience many times where customers, unfortunately, say one thing, but then say they said another. I just try my best to diffuse the situation, and I'm not really a guy. It's not about the money. I don't care about the money. If I, for example, have to give a free sandwich or whatever to take care of the issue, I don't mind. I just don't like the taking advantage thing. If
Yeah.
someone tries to take advantage, that's when I put my foot down.
Yeah.
But if it's like, for example, an honest mistake or they didn't realize, then I say, you know what? Let me just solve the situation. I'll take the loss. I'll lower myself. It's no big deal. I don't mind at all. But the taking advantage of thing, that's when I put my foot down, and that's
Yeah.
when you see another side of me that I don't like to show. Yeah,
Nice. That's smart. And I think that's the best way to do it is because you do want to give people a chance, but you also don't want to be a doormat.
exactly. You don't want
So,
to be a doormat. Thank you very much. Perfect.
yeah.
Exactly.
So that totally makes sense. And also, I like to, this was kind of a random question. I always like to ask people, do you have a favorite representation of food on film? Like it could be like a TV show, a movie,
Yes.
whatever. Like maybe the food looked really bomb and accurate, or it was funny, silly, like whatever.
Well, actually, one of my favorite movies of all time, especially becoming a chef and doing food truck. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm going to say. Chef.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that checks out.
that's a very I would say a very general choice. Everyone would say that, or a lot of people would say that. But that movie just speaks volumes to my heart
It
and my
does.
personality, and the way that movie is. I really, really enjoy it, and the struggle that he went through, especially with his son being there with him, being a divorcee, and the way that movie plays out and the way it is just awesome. Like
Yeah.
that's like a stupid dream come true. I mean, he toured the entire U.S.
Uh-huh.
Then in the end got his own dream restaurant, close to his son, close to his ex-wife, and who knows, maybe got back together with her. But it's a movie at the end of the day. But it was a very, very good movie. I
Dude,
really enjoyed that.
I agree totally. And I think you could have big, huge plans. Like, could you see yourself like franchising out Ana Shawarma, do you think?
So that's a question I've been asked many times. Honestly, it just depends on how I'm feeling. Like right now, I'm a very big perfectionist. I'm a control freak. To a certain extent, I'm not a crazy control freak, but I am to a certain extent. I like to have everything the way I like it, but I do let go when I do need to. Franchising, I feel like I would like to create Ana Shawarma to the point where it's a local chain and I have multiple locations under my belt and have people that I trust to run the businesses. And once it gets to that point, if people hit me up, people I don't know, people who are interested in expanding the business and want a franchise, then I feel like I'd strongly consider it then. But as of right now, the franchising is definitely not on my radar and definitely the last thought that I have.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And that's really smart because you don't want to grow too fast. And so many restaurants have grown too fast, chase
Yeah.
a dollar, and then they just totally fall off.
Yeah, I'm not after money, to be honest with
That's
you.
good.
I'm not after material things. I'm not after money. I'm after building what I've always dreamed of. I've always been dreaming of having my own brick and mortar restaurant, building it to the standard that I want, work in it, you take care of it, baby it, do all of that stuff. Once it gets to the point where I outgrow it, because the restaurant, I want to be there forever, but not in the sense where I'm working 7 days a week. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah, totally.
Like I said, I'm willing to do that now. Once I get to that point where it's running itself, it has employees, it has managers, it has supervisors, then, hey, listen, just checking up on you guys, everything is okay, and I'm going to do other ventures.
Smart.
By then. That's the plan.
That's so cool. That's really great. I love that. And I think you can definitely do it. And that's so cool that you just follow passion, you follow the food, and you don't follow the dollar. But also, sometimes honestly when people do sell out, I'm like, I kind of low key get it. Like
Yeah.
if some venture capitalist was like, hey Anthony, I want to offer you this insane amount of money for your digital marketing business, I'm like, okay. Like
Yeah.
and because I love my job too. So I always tell people like, because I do a side hustle at Cash Explosion. It's a Ohio lottery game show.
Yes.
And I always joke, like, if I won the lottery, I would still work. Like, even if I won life-changing money, I would just do my job for free or I would have a better camera. Like, I never want to stop working.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
love telling stories. I love making my videos and just love doing my thing. So,
And it's very fulfilling to work. I mean, sitting at home doing nothing. I mean, what kind of life is that?
no,
We need
no
to
good.
have a purpose. Have something to do. always keep ourselves busy with something. But yeah, I mean, just working hard is never a bad thing. There's no such thing as hard work that goes to waste. No
Right.
such thing.
Absolutely. I love that. And that's a good outlook on life. And then I always like to ask people too, before we get out of here, I always like to say, do you have like an all time favorite dining experience, like a best dining experience you've ever had?
So this was actually also recent. Just like I said, I worked for 3 months, 7 days. So just after the 7 days, my first actually half day, it wasn't even a day off. I worked all day, then I left early. I went to Chapman's.
Nice.
Do you know
Oh, yeah. I
Chapman's?
love
Yeah,
Chapman's. They're
wow.
great.
I was very, very
Did you get the
impressed.
fries?
I got the fries, yes.
Nice.
I was very impressed, seriously. The food was amazing, and I got the branzino, the whole fish branzino. It was insane. I mean, my wife didn't have a dandy time with all the bones, but I just was, you know how it goes.
It's
I was
worth it,
taking care of
honestly.
all of it and fixing everything for her and giving her the pieces without the bone. I was basically deboning it
I
for her.
love it.
But
Gentleman and a scholar.
that was definitely a top three experience for me. And then there's another place, but it's definitely not over here in Savannah, Georgia. I still can't remember the name. I really every time me and my wife think of it, we forget again. But in Savannah, Georgia, we had a fine dining experience similar to Chapman's, and that was the best dining experience I've ever had in my life.
Oh, nice.
Seriously, I mean, it was an amazing view, an amazing restaurant, amazing ambiance, everything. And the restaurant, they made us feel very comfortable. We had certain dietary restrictions, for example, no alcohol, no pork, this and that and the other. And in fine dining, they use alcohol in a lot of the different stuff that they cook. Especially pork and this kind of stuff, but they were very accommodating. And Chapman's was no
Nice.
different. So we definitely had a great time at Chapman's and that place as well.
I never even thought of that. I didn't realize that halal people could not eat food like alcohol if it was for food purposes. So like you could not have like a vodka sauce, for example.
No, I could not.
Oh dang, that's unfortunate.
So yeah, the halal people. Speaking of halal
Well, I didn't
people,
know if like if I would
Mus-
say Muslim would be wrong because I
No,
didn't.
Muslim's right.
Okay,
Yeah, Muslim's right.
I
Yeah.
don't know
So
stuff. I mainly know food. I don't know about like I don't know. I'm just
no,
like
no problem at all. Yeah. So yeah, I'm Muslim, and the Muslims we don't eat pork, we don't eat alcohol, or drink alcohol. I'm sorry, but yeah, that includes having alcohol in food, whether it's an ounce or it's going to make you intoxicated or not. Which obviously it's not. It's not about the intoxication part. It's forbidden to drink alcohol. Period. So having alcohol in it, it's like for example having a candy and there's pork in the candy and I don't eat pork. I'm like, well, it's just candy,
yeah,
but it still has pork in it.
yeah.
You understand? If you have for example, a vegan person who doesn't eat eggs, right? Vegans don't eat eggs, I believe,
Correct.
and
Yeah.
milk. So if you have mayo, it has eggs in it. They're like, oh yeah, well, no problem, it's mayo. No, they're gonna say I'm
That
not gonna have it. So it's the
you explained
same
it perfectly.
ideals. Yeah,
That totally makes sense.
same ideals.
Because in my brain, I was just like, oh, the alcohol cooks out. What's the difference? But yeah, the vegan egg thing, you perfectly explained it. You
Yeah,
nailed it.
appreciate it.
And then I think with fine dining too, I feel like it's always like almost like art. Like it's more of like an experience in food. Like the food's always amazing, but like
Yeah.
it's just like the attention to detail. Like because I always try to justify the price of fine dining food.
Yeah.
And do you think it's just like just everything's so perfect? Like the plate is perfect, the preparation's perfect. Like
Yeah.
I always wondered that price point on fine dining.
Honestly, fine dining, yeah, like you said, it's a fine line. Me, that course style of fine dining, I think personally, I'm not really a big fan. I have a big appetite, and I can eat quite a lot of food. And those, yeah, I feel like those are as like one-time experiences. You want to go somewhere to just experience it. I think it's very good for that. But if you're hungry and you want to go somewhere to eat some good food, and you go to a dinner like that, I feel like it's kind of the wrong choice because you're not going because your stomach is hungry. You're going there because you want to experience something new. So, and Chapman's, like I said, is a little bit between that. It's also very filling, very good food, and also doesn't break the bank. I
Yeah,
was
it's
actually
reasonable.
surprised. It was very reasonable, and you also get that style of experience of fine dining. But in terms of those courses where they bring you the small plate and they literally have 2 bites of something. It's just for the experience to try it out. What does this taste like? What does that taste like? How does it, mesh with your palate, with your taste buds, and how it goes? And that's pretty much the kind of experience that I would want to have probably once, maybe
Yeah.
twice in my life.
Yeah, dude, it's worth it. I mean,
Yeah.
Agni's a great place if you've ever been to Agni's a really
Yeah.
great place. Polino Pasta does a great little tasting menu. I'm a big fan of tasting menus. It's just it breaks the bank, but it's like and
Yeah.
also for me for content, I don't think my followers care about it. I don't know if it's like just not relatable or I'm not presenting it in such a way, but like if I post chicken wings, pizza, or like a burger, they go crazy.
Yeah.
But if I post like fine dining or even like sometimes like even if it's just expensive, like I posted a lobster roll and that underperformed, I'm just like, man, you guys just only want the junk food, I guess.
Well, I feel like maybe to a sense, a lot of the people are not what a lot of people, most people are not well off. So I feel like they like to relate to things that they can afford and that they can experience on a day-to-day end. Where you know what, hey, listen, Anthony, the other day posted this video about this restaurant. You know what? Today I'm gonna go. You
Yeah.
know, and no one's just gonna be like, hey, you know what? He posted about that fine dining and just go randomly. You have to plan it. You have to find the right date.
That's
You
true.
have to think about it. You have to make the reservation. And if you
Hmm.
don't go to the reservation, they charge like $50. So it's like a whole, ordeal for that. So that's probably why I
That checks
feel
out.
like, yeah.
So, Ozzy, I feel like we nailed it. But before we get out of here, is there anything that you wanted to talk about? Anything you wanted to say that we didn't get a chance to talk about organically?
Um, just wanted to mention Aussie's Pizza and Chicken again, and that's why I'm looking at the camera. So that way, hopefully, I can post this clip. But Aussie's Pizza and Chicken, we're going to be opening that hopefully next month. This is the main announcement. Aussie's Pizza and Chicken, we're going to be specializing in fried chicken, pizza, cold cut sandwiches. So we're gonna have everything. I mean, we're gonna have the gravy and the jalapenos and the pizza and the different toppings. We're also gonna have a chicken shawarma pizza on a shawarma collab. So be on the lookout for that, and hopefully we should be opening that here real soon.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your time
Thank you
and
so
hope you have a
much.
great rest of your day.
I appreciate it, Anthony.
Awesome.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Hey, so that was the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And if you noticed that this episode sounded awesome, we recorded at Brick House Blue in Bridge Park, Dublin. It's phenomenal space. It's acoustically optimized for the podcast. And the crazy thing is, it's only $30 an hour. $30 an hour. Unbeatable. It's such a deal. Beyond their podcast stuff, they also have open co-working, impactful meetings, virtual mail services, and much, much more. And I love that they're in Bridge Park, Dublin. I always hit up the North Market after a podcast. Love a good lunch, nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful space. It's conveniently located. Their website is super easy to use. I cannot recommend them enough. So thank you so much for listening. And yeah, that's the pod. Thanks.